It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a forum video. I feel like it's been a while since we have actually done one of these. And this one in particular really caught my eye because it has to do with content that's been releasing about DBD lately. And so this one in particular is titled Survivor Bashing Content. And I know a lot of people probably will be a little confused because they don't really understand what that means. They really don't understand, for some unknown reason, where this form of content is coming from and what it actually is referring to and stuff like that. So I wanted to give my take on this because it's definitely a lot to discuss. As you probably can tell, I've been dropping a lot of videos that are talking about this topic as a whole, that it has to do a lot with the survivor side, and with good reason. If you've been keeping up with the channel, you know exactly every particular reason as to why we're talking about this. But let's go ahead and read the actual post. It says, has anyone noticed a trend on YouTube where you just see videos of survivor bashing? What gives? Now, keep in mind that this is a brand new terminology that we're seeing here. This is the birth of a new term to describe content, because keep in mind, like, the people that are looking at this stuff, that are engaging, they view themselves as victims. They view themselves as they can do no wrong, that every single survivor player is an angel and they can't do anything wrong, and it's always the killers. They're the mean ones. They're the evil people who play the game and want to ruin everyone's experience and everyone's fun. And, you know, it's so easy and all this type of stuff to play killer. So keep in mind, like, they already have that mindset where they're incredibly biased to that particular side. They're incredibly biased into that perspective. So that's why we already have brand new terminologies. Because keep in mind, that's where the whole tunneling stuff came from, where that term came from, right? The whole camping thing came from, right? They come up with these fancy little terms to try to describe things that are simply just either playing the game, or even in this case, specifically talking about the issues with the game. Talking about issues with the balancing. Talking about issues with the community. So the first thing that they say is, it would be helpful if you could explain what it is. Of course, another person wants to claim that it's somehow just getting more views and clickbait, which is entirely inaccurate. You know what I mean? We already understand that. It's not like you could just, like, put that in the title and everybody wants to watch it. It's that people understand, that are playing this game, understand that a majority of the survivor players are not really bringing a positive light to this community. They're not bringing a positive light to the balancing. They're not bringing a positive light to the matches they come to. Just keep in mind, like, you know, and I'm talking about, like, survivor mains that you already know what I'm talking about. Not people that play survivor that are actually good, wonderful people to be around, wonderful people to talk to. Those are completely different things. We're talking about the players that will come after you, harass you, try to literally, on streams, by the way, live, telling you that you should end your own life because you decided to play a video game. Those are the kinds of people that we're all referring to, that what we're talking about, the entitlement. You know what I mean? Those kinds of people are who we are referring to when we talk about this content. And then, of course, like, you're gonna, you know, I've had people comment before, oh, why are you disregarding that person? And it's like, I've seen this individual write tons and tons of posts at this point, because keep in mind, we've covered forums many times in the past at this point, and I see, like, names popping up. I see names pop up again and again that have the same takes, the same incredibly biased, nonsensical takes, right? So this is one of them. They say engagement bait. You have killer mains clicking on those videos saying how horrible survivors are. You know, survivor mains clicking on to say that it is not true. Better just not click on those videos with those content creators to not give them money. So keep in mind, right? These are the type of people that are contributing to the negativity of the community. These are the same people that are contributing to the negative, like, downside, the downward spiral that the game is falling into, because they disregard any and all criticism to their favorite side, to their community, if you could say, by just saying it's bait. Oh, it's just engagement bait. Oh, it's just this. It's just clickbait. It's like, you're not even taking anything into it. You're not even inputting anything in your brain to understand exactly why people are having this sort of viewpoint. why people are sharing and discussing this topic. Because like I've said, a lot of these people view themselves as these little victims, and it's like, dude, it's a video game, number one. Two, wake up and smell the roses. Come on now. Open your eyes. Because keep in mind that we can explain in every way, which way we can, and they will still find a way to disregard it, ignore it, just say the word wrong, and then not even actually give a rebuttal or response. Like, these are the kinds of people that are engaging in these kinds of discussions with this type of topic. Oh, it's survivor bashing. Like, no one has ever said that prior to this, by the way, like that I've seen. And then, of course, they bring in the screenshot of Men's Skull. They have, you know, another one here with Quiet Kills. And it's like, instead of thinking, why is that the case? Like, what are they trying to say? What is like the general consensus of what's going on here? Because these people are explaining it directly. Like Minsko already explaining it beautifully in the first minute of the video. Quiet Kills, the same thing, explains it beautifully in the beginning of the video. And then both of these creators are giving evidence in the video itself. But keeping in mind that they're not interested in trying to engage with conversations about this type of stuff. They're not interested in trying to understand the other side. They're just interested in bitching and complaining instead of trying to understand anything. So instead of watching the video and actually understanding or engaging or even giving a take, because they found the videos, right? They see the thumbnails and the titles and the creators, but they don't actually sit there and click on it and listen to what the heck they're trying to say. That's my issue with the community as a whole. They're not interested in trying to engage with the actual content, trying to engage with anything that anyone has to say. Right? And then this person right here, the same one from before, this is a new trend. It's like, maybe go find out. Maybe go find out. You know what I'm saying? Why not do your research? But I know a lot of people that are on this are not going to do that. And then look, another like same Survivor main who decided to post the actual original post says, yeah, I should have listened to you, but like the first comment I see on the video. Like, obviously it's supposed to be humorous. Like, it's supposed to be humorous, obviously, but you know, God forbid, right? They actually decide to use their brains for more than 2 seconds to think about it and go, what is the context here? There's no nuance, apparently, for these people. They can't understand what sarcasm is, what a joke is. Like, you obviously understand that that's a joke. Like, I don't understand why that's a foreign concept to these people, bro. I really don't. This person says clickbait in the simplest form. It's really not. There are numerous people talking about the same topic. There is so many different creators, videos talking about this content. You would think for just a second that they would want to engage with it, try to understand better. But you know, the same thing they do with any topic in this game. They like to go back to their echo chambers, back to the little bubbles, and they yap to each other and sniff each other's like farts and shit. Because, you know, ultimately that's what it is. Like, they're not interested in engaging with anything that goes against their worldview. Not a single thing. That's just what they do. And they even say right here, only watch a few DVD content creators as they do good content. Which I would love to see what that looks like, because I'm pretty sure that can be picked apart pretty quickly. And then another one says, this has been around practically since release. Most content that criticizes one side is mostly towards Survivor or any toxic TTV videos. It's mostly Survivor. So what I have to say in response to that is, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Anytime anyone has ever done some kind of test, has done some kind of experiment with who can be more toxic and how frequently that happens, why does it always just happen to be a Survivor player doing it? Because the amount of times that I've seen people conduct experiments, especially shout out to the Brownie, if bro is watching this by any chance, bro conducted an experiment himself. I think it was like 30 matches for both Survivor and Killer, right? And when he played Survivor, I think he, out of the 30 matches, or however many it was, it might have been 20 or 30, he only had one instance where he actually got some kind of response from the Killer player that was bitching and trying to be toxic. But then on, if I'm not mistaken, it was 17 out of the, either out of the 20 or out of the 30 that he played on Killer. And it was just all instances of them raging, complaining, bitching. And it's like, what does that tell you? Right? Let's take into account the other examples that we cover on this channel. You guys have seen it from Quiet Kills. You guys have seen it from Nami. If you're familiar with that video, you understand what I'm talking about. But shout out to them as well, because she was playing Onryo with no add-ons, no perks, and then they were bitching and moaning on their own, like the Survivor players on the stream, by the way, telling her to end her own life. I can't obviously say exactly what they said. To end their own lives because they're just apparently tunneling. And it's like, who's tunneling? Like, you can see the video on your own. I could probably try to find it and link it. But the fact of the matter is that they played badly and all of a sudden it's her fault. And then obviously Quiet Kills already has like numerous examples of that as well. So in what scenario is there any ever is there videos where like it's a Killer player doing this? I find it's very difficult to look for. I've tried looking for that. I can't find it. Like, I barely see anything on it. You know what I mean? Like they always have something that they I never see anything like substantial. So right here it says, I don't even engage with CCs, which, okay. But even what little I see is mostly Survivor hate. Like I said, why do you think that is the case? Why do you think that's the case? This is why I constantly tell you guys, man, you gotta look, listen, read, understand what these people are trying to say. Because for some reason, unknown reason, they cannot fathom the concept that there are players out here that play their favorite side that are not these wonderful little angels, apparently. And I've dealt with people like that too. I've spoken to people like that they just actively could never fathom that a Survivor player is loading up a game to give the Killer a hard time. When that exists, like, you can see that. And the different things that they do. You could play the game normally, you could play it sweaty, you could play it casual, you could play it friendly. They will always find some way to get upset, get mad, come after you. They say this community loves a certain flavor of division. I don't even think that's the case. I really don't, because a lot of the time when you see something like this little flavor of division is directly from a lot of Survivor focused posts. That's what I find so crazy to me. It's like I can easily find videos and different examples of Survivor players like getting upset at Killer players for just existing. But yet I literally cannot find an example where a Killer player, I only think I could say one time out of all the time that I've been going over these topics and videos and things, only one time I could sit there like, damn, that's an entitled Killer player. But that was like, I cannot find anywhere else. Like, it's weird. I don't know why. Like, you just can't find it. And it's crazy because they like to say that, oh, it's the community. It's like, yeah, but why is it always seeming like it's only one side that's screaming the loudest, though? It's really strange. You know what I mean? It almost seems like it's a minority of people that are actually trying to put a spotlight on the actual truth of this. You know what I mean? It's weird. I don't know why that's the case. There's even one guy who bashes this forum, especially those he thinks are Survivor mains. Ironically enough, right? I think we have we might have a general idea who that probably is. You could take a wild guess. And it's funny because he says he thinks are Survivor mains, but people are, right? They literally state it themselves, right? I mean, you can see it because, like I've said, we analyze the way that people write things. We look over how they decide to present things. And we understand that that's where the bias is stemming from. Because if they actually played killer to the level that majority of us killer players are playing at, right, where we're going against the sweatiest of the sweat, like the most swift of the swift, you know what I'm saying? You would see the same stuff we're seeing. But because you play killer once a month, you're not gonna see any of the things that we're talking about. And then it dials back to the whole, well, I didn't see it, therefore it didn't exist type nonsense. It's like, what are we talking about? So this person says, these videos are not a critique to survivors in general, but a critique to the survivors who DC on a first down or those who throw insults at the endgame chat. I can't say anything about Mr. Headache, but Minskull and Quiet Kills have often tried to make the distinction between the common survivor and the salt-driven ones who throw the game and ruin it for their own teammates the moment something goes wrong. So thank you. Somebody said it. Thank you. This is exactly summarizing what all of us have pretty much been talking about. Because these kinds of players are in mass causing all these bad changes to go through, causing all these negative things to occur for the game, like destroying the integrity of the game. Because these kinds of players, the ones that are disconnecting the second they get down to do their own mistakes, by the way, we saw that in the Quiet Kills video previously, who that person was in a chase against Clown, horrible pathing, didn't know where they were going, ran into a random corner, gets down, wants to fly out the lobby. I'm like, but that was your fault. The Clown didn't even land his ability, so he was just walking around like with a knife, and that was it. And you went down to that. He didn't slow you down. He just went right around the wall because he's like, yo, bro is not going to this window. I'm just gonna down him. And he had a frosty eyed Clown, by the way. Like, bro was probably just started playing Clown that day. Like, he goes down to that. Wants to get mad. Oh, what the? Oh, I'm out of here. Like, bro, this is all your fault, though. Like, what are you getting mad at? Like, what are you talking about? Let's see here. So this person says, as the other person said, it's engagement bait primarily, but it's also the natural course the game has taken. Killer is the weakest role, despite all the evidence screaming the opposite. What? You know what I find really funny? Because another same name we always see before with Survivor Side It Takes. What evidence do you have to say that Killer is not the weakest role? Despite all the evidence, right? They say there's all this evidence. Where's the evidence? Notice, like I keep telling you guys, I keep saying this to you guys. They say that there's this evidence, and it's like, but where is it? Why are you not showing us or explaining it, a screen? Like, give us something. Like, what are we talking about? And the real problem is bully survivors. You get to be in control and take down all the meanies. The great ego trap. Like, what are you talking about? You see what I'm saying? Like, these types of people are not interested in conversation and discourse and trying to understand better. It's just, oh, it's ego. Oh, it's just them. They're just meanies. It's like, oh my goodness. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, and it's crazy to me because it's like, I can speak to a killer player who has the most level-headed takes, will be able to understand like exactly what survivors are experiencing, what killer players are experiencing. And it's like, you go to a survivor player and it's like they just for some reason have this mental block where they can't even understand a single thing that the killer is facing. They just cannot fathom that any of the shit that they do can be irritating and annoying and not fun to go up against. It just, for some unknown reason, they just can't handle it. I don't know why. And this is exactly an example of what I was talking about before, literally a couple of minutes ago, where I said that they like to sit there and just like huff each other's farts and shit. This is another example. Because this person says a survivor-sided take, right? Which just has nothing to do with any of the points. Basically just making up some bullshit. And then this person continues to agree with them. They say that's an interesting role reversal theory. Flip the lore by making the survivors the villains and the killers justified because the players quote-unquote deserve it. What in any scenario does that make any sense? But keep in mind, these are the people that don't engage with the content. This same person from a minute ago said they don't even engage with the content. They don't watch any of these videos. So how would you have any understanding or idea as to what the hell people are talking about? You don't have any idea as to what they're saying. You don't know what anybody's argument is. You're just making shit up as you go along and then using that straw man to make that your argument. Dog, you don't know what you're talking about. This is what I've been trying to say. Hey, look at it. They keep going back and forth. Look at this. It's a mirror to their own reality. Then they say no such thing as bad press, blah, blah, blah. It's a whole bunch of nonsense, bro. This is what I'm saying. Look at this. Oh my goodness gracious. About to get violent in here. It says, it's actually really nasty that behavior encourages that and profits off of it. What are you talking about? You see what I'm saying? Like, these people, I already summarized it from the very beginning. They view themselves as these little victims that they just cannot fathom the idea that people playing against the nonsense that they have to face in the game is somehow unfun to go up against. That for some unknown reason, they cannot understand for a single second that they cannot find the game fun because of the things that they've been adding to this game. And it's crazy to me. It really is. It's like, dude, what are we talking about? And another person says that they saw the video the other day and it just spews bias. So like I said, people don't care to engage with it. When it's funny because like I've said before, they just sweep everything over to it being bias, it being coping, it being crying, it being this, it being whining. Maybe listen to what the fuck you're talking about. Because everyone explains this. Like, everybody who's been making videos about this explains it piece by piece as to what they're talking about. And somehow, like I keep saying, I don't know how it doesn't go through their head. It's really strange to me. And I'm just saying, like, the other person says, like, this is like this entire forum post is exactly what I've been talking about for you guys. This is what I'm saying. This is what they do. This is why the forums are like this. This is why I wanted to put a spotlight on this, because this is what they do. They make up a really stupid take. They have people agreeing with it. Then they start thinking they're right because the two Timmys decided to agree with that. And some other Timmy agrees with that person. And all of a sudden it starts to create this perspective. And then they just keep doing that over and over and over. So they start creating this worldview that they're these victims that play Survivor, and oh my goodness, the killers are so mean and so evil for just playing the side. It's like, we're all playing a goddamn video game. Like, let's really be so for real. What are we talking about? Right? Which right off the bat, you can already tell the forum post was going to be biased because they call it Survivor bashing. They didn't say Survivor criticism. They didn't say Survivor discussions. They said bashing. So I'm like, you know what I mean? What did you think was going to happen? And I notice how they sit there and try to, like, you know, even in this example, right? Because they're trying to say that there's some kind of tribes that cater to each one, right? So like in the last year, it came and got way worse. So check it out. We're gonna read it right here. They say, like, the average Survivor main content as you see is stuff like, hey guys, go watch me loop the killer for 5 gems using this quirky new perk build I created, haha, with bright filters and Nintendo music playing in the background. But then you have the average killer main content, which all feels like a variation of Toxic, Swift, Bully Squad, Epic Fail with salty endgame chat, and 80% of comments are people going off about how they hate Survivor players and they want genocidal Survivor mains. I'm being slightly hyperbolic, but you get the point. And you can see the bias already from the beginning. It's not some kind of trend. It's not some kind of like this little clickbaity thing. Like, this is, people are genuinely frustrated at these changes that they're getting. They're genuinely frustrated at these very specific type of players that are playing this game. And it's minimized because bro is watching like the slop content, basically, where they have these creators going against brand new killer players that have no idea what they're doing, getting memed and clipped and all this music and oh haha he missed. It's like, bro doesn't know how to play. Like, what are we talking about? You can't loop a killer for 5 gens if they actually know what the hell they're doing, bro. So if they're looping for 5 gens, they probably are freshly installed, which says a lot more about their MMR level than anything else. And that's another thing that we also see a lot of. People will just kind of sweep everything to us versus them as well. And thank you once again, another voice of reason. They say if you watch most of the videos, all it is people who fed up with the current state of the game and voicing their collective frustration at survivors and trying to educate them on how to get better so they can stop blaming toxic killers for their problems. If you don't see the issues, you're either in a 3 to 4 man swift, a killer player, or a new player that doesn't know bad plays when they see them. Please, I encourage any doubters, go play solo, duo, queue, and watch how many games you lose because your teammates survivors heal underhook, farm hooks, loop in disadvantageous areas, die too fast due to lack of knowledge, or DC go next immediately. Which I do agree with that as well, right? Because I've experienced that before. I've seen it with my own eyes when I'm playing killer mainly, right? That's what they do. They get mad and cry. Oh my goodness, why are you playing like that? It's like, learn how to play the game. Because, you know, I go in with the idea that I'm going to go against competent players. I'm going to go against people that want to win. So I'm going to bring my A game because I know they're going to bring their A game. So I give them the benefit of the doubt in that sense where I know they're going to try their best. So I'm going to try my best. And instead of going, man, you know, good game. We all did our best. You know what I'm saying? We did our thing. But hey, you got it out. We got the win in the end. Good job. GG's. Instead, it's crying, complaining, and then all of that is the entitlement that's built up over time because of the constant updates that they've received that make winning easier and easier. We understand that. But anyway, they say these people are the reason half the killer roster has such bad reps because instead of learning, they bitch and moan or in DC until mommy and daddy behavior fix the problem. I don't see a problem with, quote, survivor bashing content. Maybe it'll get some of the worst offenders to educate themselves, but what do I know? You probably saw the thumbnail, left the angry killer main's bad comment, then went back to throwing games and complaining on Twitter. So shout out to this person as well, Slurp Ramen as well, man. Absolutely incredible commenter, bro. And instead of responding, right, because you know, because bro makes an actual good take, we have just more huffing. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, they just continue to agree with each other if it's survivor based, you know what I mean? Survivor biased. And then this person was banned for some unknown reason. And they say it's not bashing if it's true. DVD survivor player base by force is the most entitled, whiny, and disgusting player base I've ever seen. League of Legends and Call of Duty are not even close. Like, I mean, it is what, like, there it is right there. You know what I mean? There it is right there. And bro got banned for that, probably. It might have been for this post. We don't know, right? We don't know. It's ridiculous. And then this person wants to say, sadly not new. What bothers me is how many times people who make these videos are in the creator program. I would think if someone was going to represent my brand, I ensure they were coming in good faith, not trying to divide the community further. So there you go. Another example of I didn't watch the content, so I make up a story. And that's the majority of where these people are coming from. They're not interested, like I've said, in understanding the other side. And that's the problem with the community. They plug their ears the second that it's something they don't like. Like, maybe use your ears and listen. You know what I mean? Didn't they teach you that in school? Shut your mouth, listen, open your ears. You know what I mean? And actually hear what's being said, like, you know? But apparently not. Apparently not. I guess not. You know, that's just a foreign concept. And bro wants to say that like most of the things that the content creators say will get banned on the very forum. But the thing is that the forum is moderated very differently. I think it's even community moderated, if I'm not mistaken. I think they literally had a point where people were applying to be mods on this specific forum. So, like, you know that most likely it might have been a biased individual that just immediately bans everything that they say that they don't like. So another person right here is saying that the rate of disconnects are rocket high at the survivor side and gets support by many DVD players. Why should you stay in the game if you don't have fun? Don't like the killer DC, don't like the map DC, you know what I mean? As many players, even in this forum, suggested don't like cool, just DC and show behavior that you don't want to play. It's true. Otherwise, or not otherwise, but of course there are killers who DC over the smallest thing themselves, bad maps, bullet squads, but if you are being honest, you'll see that the killer which DCs has the most of a time a reason to do so. I don't agree, but you understand. Another denied hit by auto aim. Larry's is Billy. Flashlight squad. Well, flashlight save rather out of an impossible angle, so on. Another point is how players react to a game style. Well, bully squads are hated. Their most common suggestion in this forum are always being Lightborn for being Sable squads. Slug the hell out of them. Legit conversations on how to tackle the problem you're facing. Survivors generous, you slow down, and so on. Survivors, on the other hand, react to such topics in another way. Many survivors think that behavior should make playstyles that they don't like unusable and get mad at behavior don't do it right after the suggestions came in. From time to time, I try to reason with some players in the forum. If slugging has 10 out of games, why don't you take anti-slug? The answer is always something like, I don't want to use a perk for behavior's bad game design. But both sides are horrendous from time to time. Most of the time, I roll my eyes and see survivors in-game or forum. And notice that when bro offers like a well thought out response, brings out evidence and literally is saying directly the truth, like this is what happens. I do know how many times we've seen forum posts, even on Reddit, Twitter, whatever, like that people are using this entitlement to go, oh, if you don't like something, just disconnect. I should be able to disconnect whenever I want. And then they want to quote the whole like, basically counter picking perks. Then bro wants to say it's not comparable. Like, huh? They say Lightborn not only deletes an item's usability, but just one slot taken. It even gives undeserved aura read. What? Like, yo, and then you know what's funny is that this same individual wants to say that somebody's been criticizing the forums and they think everyone's a survivor main. I'm like, but you're literally saying that Lightborn is this crazy broken perk right now. Isn't that literally the most survivor-sided take you've ever heard? Like, dog, you can't make this shit up. Like, dog, it's like ridiculous, bro. Yeah, you could bring, like, bro, which my problem is, right? When it comes to Lightborn as it is, I'm just gonna quickly cover that and then we'll end it here. But the thing with Lightborn is like, the fact is that if you're just never in the position to use your flashlight, unless you're gonna just spam it at a pallet, which makes no sense, and it's just a waste of time. But regardless, if you decide to like not get your blinds, right? Because keep in mind that people can place a wall sometimes, whatever have you. And say, for example, your teammates are just constantly getting down in front of a wall or something like that, and you're not able to blind. Isn't that also directly meaning that your item's usability is just non-existent? But oh, it's just my item's gone with one slot. I'm like, but you know how stupid this becomes when you really start to take it apart? Because they want to say, oh, it takes one slot to get rid of my item. It's like, yeah, but that also means he only has 3 other perk slots. Bro only has 4. So let's do the math. You have 4 players that can all bring 4 slots that all can do numerous different things or even synergize with each other versus 1 player who has 4 slots. And 1 slot is being taken because they're countering your item, giving him 3 perks to work with. Like, do you see how stupid it starts to become? Like, dog, what are you talking about? And then bro wants to cry about slugging, and then he wants to say unbreakable and all these other counters. And then look, conviction and Wakelet require coordination. No, they don't. No, they don't. It's ridiculous, bro. And then of course they just like try to nullify every other point, and it's just a bunch of yap, bro. It's just a bunch of yap. You know what I mean? And this is what I'm saying, bro. Like, these people are never gonna be reasoned with. Like, you know what I mean? It's impossible to get through to these people because they keep themselves in here. They keep themselves in these little boxes, those little bubbles, and huff each other's farts on their bullshit takes. That's all they're interested in. And unfortunately, that's not going to create a good conversation for the community. It's not going to improve the community. It's not going to do anything positive for the community. That's just how it is. This is how it's going to be, because these people are the ones that are giving feedback and causing the game to go into a downward spiral of dog doo-doo. That's the problem. And I want the game to be better. I want the game to succeed, but unfortunately, we're listening to these bozos. They're not actually going to give you anything positive. So it's like, at this point, it's like, what do you expect? But I want to hear what you guys think in the comment section. Hit the like, hit the sub, man. Become a member on YouTube or Patreon, or even subbing on Twitch. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off these wonderful members. We got Patreon, Crow Vader. All my YouTube members, Brando, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not J-Lo, Evil Peach, Kargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. Really appreciate you guys supporting, man. And if you also subbed on Twitch, just know that you got love coming your way too. Appreciate you guys, man.